Listen, but let's be real. Neko Umage, Naka might be a damn op as well. You've got Satu, who's been pro Caitlin Clark and pro Fever fans. You got Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen. Like, I don't know if there's any relationship between Caitlin and Kiki. But all I got to say is I cannot believe these teams are absolutely hilarious. The team's hilarious. And not only that, she traded her coach.
A fascinating development has unfolded surrounding Caitlin Clark's all-star roster choices, demonstrating what many view as a deliberate strategy in team assembly. The Fever standout has constructed a lineup that appears thoughtfully selected based on established connections and previous encounters. Clark's decision-making process seemingly emphasized players with whom she has built strong relationships. The team features athletes she has previously played with, including Sonia Citron, while conspicuously omitting those who have openly questioned her abilities or shared negative commentary via social platforms or mainstream media. This methodology has produced what observers characterize as an amicable selection.
Her coach. So, she was originally meant to play for Cheryl Reeve. You guys don't know who Cheryl Reeve? She was the Team USA coach who basically has said a bunch of negative things on social media about Caitlin Clark, who had like a bad write-up in Christine Brennan's book, then deleted all the tweets and she deleted a bunch of tweets, said the tweets never existed in the first place. And basically,
Kiki Herbert Harrigan's selection prompts questions about existing connections with Clark, though the exact nature of their relationship stays unclear. Most remarkably, the roster completely excludes players who have openly voiced criticism about Clark's league influence or individual contributions. The most unexpected development centers on coaching arrangements. Clark was initially set to compete under Cheryl Reeve, the national team coach who became associated with controversial social media activity regarding Clark. Reeve's online presence included posts that were subsequently removed, followed by assertions that such content never existed. This matter grew more complex when writer Christine Brennan referenced these incidents in her work, creating disputes about reporting accuracy.
Basically, basically is now saying Christine Brennan is a liar. And by the way, I would fully believe that Christine Brennan has exaggerated things, but at the end of the day, does that really matter? Does that really matter? Truth is truth. Slightly exaggerated truth is still not a lie.
The coaching dispute intensified when Reeve denied the existence of deleted posts and implied that Brennan had invented or exaggerated the situations. While the validity of these accusations remains contested, the circumstances clearly generated friction between Clark and her potential coach. Resolution occurred through an extraordinary coaching switch, enabling Clark to avoid competing under Reeve's leadership. Sandy Brondello will now serve as Clark's coach, a modification that seemingly pleases both individuals. This coaching exchange represents unusual precedent in all-star history, highlighting the influence elite players can exercise in exhibition competition. The timing of coaching appointments created this possibility, as different standings at various season points would have produced alternative coaching pairings.
Not a full lie anyway, but you've now got obviously Team Caitlin Clark with 3 of the players from the Fever, but I cannot believe she traded the coach. Anyone who is a quote-unquote op, she did not pick. And again, I'm not out here being out there saying that as if that's something that really comes in. You know what?
Notably, if coaching assignments had been determined differently, Nate Tibbetts from Phoenix might have entered consideration. Tibbetts' strategic approach emphasizes heavy three-point attempts, which would have meshed perfectly with Clark's skills and preferences. The roster formation has generated considerable entertainment potential, with 3 Fever players accompanying Clark on the same squad. This teammate concentration should ensure natural chemistry and understanding during the exhibition contest. The team may suggest emphasis on scoring ability and outside shooting, which complements Clark's talents and preferred approach.
You know what? Let's be real. She took none of them. She took nobody that said a bad thing about Caitlin Clark in public. or like in the public. She took none of them. So, I mean, like, she took none of them. Like, this is her team. She traded the coach. She has, obviously, Aja, because Aja's Aja. Look, let's be honest, you're taking Aja Wilson. Took her teammate.
A memorable moment occurred during team announcements when Fisa Collier used a specific nickname for Angel Reese. Clark's response remained notably composed, displaying neutral expression while others appeared entertained by the reference. This exchange emphasized ongoing stories surrounding various players and their public identities. Reese has successfully converted what was originally perceived as negative labeling into positive brand identity, showing her capacity to manage her own story and public perception. This conversion demonstrates considerable growth and commercial awareness, transforming criticism into marketing advantage.
Look, her teammate, Sabrina, who's like the main player in the WNBA, that was like, basically, she was the one kind of veteran player that was close with Caitlin Clark in her rookie year. Because let's be real, nothing, the best thing that ever could have happened to Sabrina Ionescu was Caitlin Clark coming, because they stopped bullying Sabrina, and then they took it all out on Caitlin. They took all the anger they had.
During the event itself, concerns emerged when Aja Wilson seemed to experience discomfort, prompting teammates and officials to surround her. The situation created momentary anxiety about her participation, though she eventually resumed activity and appeared to recover completely from whatever issues she encountered. The All-Star contest promises engaging basketball, with Clark's squad likely emphasizing perimeter shooting and up-tempo offense. The team structure suggests preference for talented outside players who can support Clark's court vision and distribution skills while providing consistent shooting options.
They took it all out on Caitlin. They took all the anger they had towards Sabrina out on Caitlin. And Caitlin was their bully, or Sabrina's their bully victim before Caitlin. You got Satu, who's been very, very pro Fever, very pro new fans, very pro all of that, because she, let's be real, Satu just wants her money. Aja Wilson, who, let's be real, ever since the whole shoe debacle, there hasn't been much said, and Caitlin's not dumb. You're not going to pass on Aja Wilson. Then off the bench, it is obviously Kelsey Mitchell, her teammate. Gabby Williams, who's a good fit and has not.
This entire scenario illustrates changing dynamics within women's professional basketball, where star athletes increasingly shape not only game results but also event structure and presentation. The careful selection of teammates and coaching staff reflects sophisticated understanding of team chemistry and personal comfort in high-visibility situations. The coaching modification specifically represents meaningful change in how all-star events might be organized moving forward, potentially granting star players greater involvement in their exhibition experience. This precedent could affect how similar circumstances are managed in future years, particularly when personality conflicts or professional disagreements emerge between players and potential coaches.
Mitchell, her teammate. Gabby Williams, who's a good fit and has not said a negative word about Caitlin Clark. You've got Sonia Citron, who's played with Caitlin Clark on Team USA's and won championships. Jackie Young, we love you, Jackie Young. Please come to Indiana in free agency next year. Please come to Indiana in free agency. Like, that would be a big thing. And in an unfortunate one for Caitlin Clark, Aja Wilson looks hurt right now. Aja Wilson looks hurt, which is not an ideal situation.
The defensive argument against Clark lacks substantial foundation. The Fever's two strongest defensive showings occurred without her participation, but this observation ignores 6 other games where their defense struggled significantly in her absence. Selecting favorable results while ignoring contradictory evidence creates a misleading story. Turnover concerns regularly emerge in discussions about Clark's playing style. High-usage guards typically generate more turnovers due to their increased ball handling duties. NBA players like Trae Young and Luka Doncic lead turnover statistics without facing suggestions that their teams would improve without them. The positive contributions from these players outweigh their mistakes, just as Clark's overall impact exceeds her occasional errors. Many of Clark's turnovers result from teammates failing to handle passes or missing defensive rotations rather than poor decision-making. This distinction rarely receives attention in critical assessments, making it easier to assign blame to the most visible player. Clark's notable performances throughout the season demonstrate her capabilities when properly supported. Her 30-point, 13-assist game against Phoenix showcased her potential despite the team's loss. Similarly, her leadership and victories over strong opponents like New York proves her ability to elevate team performance in crucial moments. The better without the star narrative appears regularly in professional sports when teams win games during a key player's absence. This lazy analysis ignores the long-term impact of losing elite talent while focusing exclusively on short-term results. Other WNBA stars like A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart don't face similar scrutiny when their teams occasionally succeed without them. Clark's influence extends beyond on-court performance into broader league impact. Games featuring Clark generate higher television ratings than many playoff contests from previous seasons. Opposing arenas sell out when the Fever visit, and league revenue has increased significantly. These factors contribute to the WNBA's growing popularity and financial stability. The experimentation with different rotations doesn't necessarily indicate problems with Clark's fit. Team chemistry development and coaching adjustments represent normal parts of building a competitive roster. The removal of certain players who weren't contributing effectively, such as Deanna Bonner, likely played a larger role in recent improvements than Clark's absence. Recent schedule analysis reveals another weakness in the better without Clark argument. Many victories during her absence came against struggling opponents rather than elite competition. The Commissioner's Cup game doesn't count toward regular season records, further diminishing the significance of these results. Direct comparison of team performance with and without Clark shows superior results when she participates. This mathematical reality contradicts narratives about her negative impact regardless of other factors being considered. The argument that Clark slows offensive pace lacks merit when examining the team's historical performance. The Fever ranked last in offensive efficiency before her arrival, making claims about reduced tempo seem misguided. Point guards naturally handle the ball frequently as part of their primary responsibilities. Clark's floor-stretching ability forces opposing defenses to adjust their schemes, creating opportunities for teammates. Her communication skills and basketball intelligence help teammates find proper positioning during offensive possessions. These leadership qualities don't appear in box scores but significantly impact team performance. 2 consecutive victories don't transform a roster into championship contenders, regardless of which players participate. The same critics calling for coaching changes weeks earlier now praise the team's direction based on minimal sample size. This inconsistency reveals the superficial nature of many sports analyses. The double standard applied to Clark becomes evident when considering hypothetical scenario. If she had played in those same 2 games and achieved identical results, no analyst would suggest the team performs better without other key players. Only Clark faces expectations of perfection while teammates receive praise for meeting basic performance standards. Media jealousy may contribute to these narratives. Clark's individual popularity and ability to generate attention exceeds that of many established media personalities. Her college career brought unprecedented visibility to women's basketball, setting attendance and viewership records across the country. Some media members preferred the WNBA's previous status as a smaller, more controlled environment. Clark's arrival brought mainstream attention and scrutiny that disrupted established dynamics. Rather than embracing this growth, certain voices attempt to diminish her impact through contrarian takes. The strength of schedule argument further weakens anti-Clark position. Most of her games occur against playoff-caliber opponents, while recent victories without her came against teams experiencing their own difficulties. The Aces' internal problems made them vulnerable regardless of Indiana's lineup configuration.